Hello, you're listening to episode number 85 of Mouth Dancing with your host Young. Thanks so much for tuning in again, like you do every week, week after week, after week after week. And when this podcast ends, the last episode, whenever that happens, it's going to end either because I end it, myself, or because I'm ended, my life is ended for some reason, and I can't record any more episodes. And then you'll have to just go back and listen from number one again. But you could keep doing that forever, basically. So this podcast is never ending, if you think about it. How do you like that? Does that brighten your day? You never have to stop listening to this podcast. It's good news. Anyone else had to do any Zoom meetings? COVID kind of made a lot of people have to do Zoom meetings for the first time from their homes, right? During the quarantine. A lot of remote work, working from home people, and everyone's just having meetings on Zoom. I'm really excited for a chance to hear someone, accidentally rip a huge fart during a Zoom meeting. You gotta be careful during Zoom meetings. You gotta make sure you're muted if you're doing anything, if you're not talking, within the meeting about stuff, you gotta make sure to mute yourself, right? So that if you burp or you fart or something, no one hears it. Because if they hear it, that's a big faux pas. You could really embarrass yourself, right? I don't think you'll get fired for it or anything like that. Because I'm pretty sure you can't get fired for farting, right? But it'd be embarrassing probably, and people would be like, oh hey, there's the guy who rips farts during the Zoom meetings. Or the gal, even. And, that could really do some damage to you professionally, right? You might not get a raise. There's nothing illegal about that because you can't prove you didn't get a raise because you farted during a Zoom meeting. Unless someone literally said in an email, hey, I'm not going to give this guy a raise because he farted during a Zoom meeting. And then you have that evidence in court. Most likely, though, no one's going to, send an email like that and make it that obvious. Because they could get in big trouble for unlawful, not giving someone a raise, which is illegal probably. Actually, I'm not sure if that's illegal. There's no law that says you have to give people raises, right? As long as you're paying minimum wage, I don't think there's anything illegal about that, so... Maybe that is a lawful reason to not give someone a raise is because, they tooted during a Zoom call. I don't know though. I'm pretty sure it would be illegal to fire them for farting during a Zoom call though. And if you wanted to fire someone for that reason, make sure not to leave a paper trail or any evidence of any sort. Make sure no one's got your phone tapped or your emails, monitored. But probably don't do that in the first place either. I suggest you don't fire people for something like that because that's pretty mean. But yeah, the whole point of what I'm talking about just now is I want to make sure all of you, if you're ever on a Zoom call and you need to rip a fart, make absolutely sure your mic is muted before you do it so that no one hears it. Unless it's like your last day at work and you want everyone to laugh at your fart and you want to just rip a huge one because you don't care anymore. That'd be pretty funny. But speaking of Zoom calls and flatulence, I wanted to talk about something a little bit darker and more serious. That was just my transition into this more serious topic. If you are watching the video version of this, you'll see that I put up a tweet from someone, and this person claims that any devices you're using, your computer, your phone, your tablet, anything that's connected to the internet probably, and has a microphone or speakers, is being monitored by the CIA, They can hear everything you're talking about. They know what you're typing. They know what you're sending to people through emails or chats. Big Brother is real, and every aspect of your life is being surveilled. And the spooks are there, watching you. They know what you're up to. They know where you are because of GPS. So they probably know what you're doing. I mean, if you're at a store, you're probably there grocery shopping most likely. And they know what you're talking about. Not just, stuff you type on your phone or your computer, but anything that you say near your computer or your phone. They can hear that too. Everything has a back door for people to listen in on you, keep tabs on you. I just thought it would be funny though if they were listening to what I'm doing, because they wouldn't be picking up on anything suspicious or worthwhile. It would just be me ripping farts, burping, talking about something really stupid. So if they had any reason to suspect me and they started, paying attention to my activity, it'd be pretty funny. Because, they'd be trying to get some dirt on me or something. Maybe they want to come at me for knowing too much about the deep state or something like that, right? Well, they can go ahead and try, but all they're going to hear is like a lot of me ripping farts and groaning because I'm asleep and maybe dreaming about farting or something. If you're farting when you're awake and you're also dreaming about farting, probably farting in your sleep too. So what are they going to have on me? Just a bunch of fart sounds? I don't think that's going to be very useful in court or wherever, somewhere they try to get me in trouble for exposing the deep state. What are they going to do about it with that kind of evidence? Probably nothing. I just laugh at the thought of that. And imagine being in court and they're like, Exhibit A, we have some audio of this gentleman ripping farts. Okay. And the judge would just dismiss it as not very useful evidence. And I would still get away with exposing the deep state and all their lies and corruption and murder. And no one would be the wiser. Because all they would know about me is that I'm extremely gassy. Right? And lastly, this episode I wanted to talk about religious persecution. People say that's a bad thing, right? But I think it's actually pretty cool, and I think it's a good thing. Like in Japan, when Western countries first started making Japan open up to the world and started sort of encroaching on their territory, forcing them to interact with the outside world. And there were Christian missionaries going to Japan, right? This was in the 1600s, I think. In places like Nagasaki, Japan. And Christianity was outlawed at that time. And, the based Japanese rulers at that time, they would just execute these people. They'd cut their heads off, behead them with samurai swords. Or they'd hang them over a pit full of feces, and they'd just die like that. That really needs to come back. Because Western influence on Asia is just a corrupting influence. And Christianity is not an East Asian religion, and it should stay that way. It should stay out of East Asia. I think Christianity has pretty much destroyed South Korean society. It's where all the crazy evangelical people come from who are super bigoted. They're all Christians, and that came from American missionaries after the Korean War. Korea needs to start beheading Christians again, destroying missionaries, burning down churches, just shredding Bibles, beating up anyone who talks about Jesus or making them disappear. We need to start doing that again, because it's fucking based as fuck. And it just makes sense, right? I mean, is America gonna let everyone become Buddhist or Muslim? No. People would freak the fuck out and start killing people. That even happened after 9/11. everyday Americans were going around like shooting Muslims and stuff. So Asia should be able to do the same thing. Just start beheading those fucking Christians, man. They shouldn't be there in the first place. It's not an East Asian religion, so let's get it out of there. Let's root it out from the roots. As far down as they go, every last bit of them. Let's bring back that old, warrior spirit. Genghis Khan, the Tiger Army of Korea, samurais of Japan, old Chinese warring states people. Let's bring back that spirit of driving out the evil foreign influences. The world needs more of that. Because globalization is destroying cultures and societies so that the whole world can be ruled by just one elite group, and we can't let that happen. So let's bring it back. And if you're with me, let me know. Because we're united like that. We're brothers and sisters. We're comrades. We're co-workers. We're soldiers. Right? We're warriors together. And on that note, I'm going to end this puppy. Thanks for listening again, and I'll see you next week. Bye.